How do you feel like this has gone now that you guys are about to be back home for the WCC?
Well, it's been good. I mean, obviously, we haven't lost a bunch of the games, and we haven't lost a bunch of players, and we've been tested, which is good. That always makes you stronger, and so I think there's not a better position to be in than we are right now. We have a great last game, a good competition to get us ready for our league, which we know is a very important part of our season, and our team is resilient. We've had some funny flight issues, and we've had a lot of travel, and it just shows you that young people are resilient, and that if you're tough and if you stick together, then we'll work on the next thing and not to worry too much about the things that you can't control. So I'm happy with our team right now, and I think they've done a really good job of enduring the schedule.
Of course, you guys have this last game tomorrow, but before the WCC. But do you feel like you've accomplished what you wanted to accomplish in the non-conference schedule?
So far, I think up till this point, we've done a nice job. I mean, I didn't expect us to probably go undefeated. I didn't know where we would hit our tough patches, but they've kind of developed a little bit of an identity. We've developed some depth that we're pretty comfortable with, and we've developed some leadership. Again, it's not as obvious and clear-cut as it was last year, but it's developed into its own situation. And, I think that we're about where we need to be as far as team and progressing going into our game tomorrow. And just, we're just always hopeful that we play our best game in our next game and the one that's coming up. So that's what the goal for tomorrow is.
We've seen what Jessie can do, of course, with being the point guard for this team this year and last year, and she's always facilitating assists and things. But against Wyoming, she had 16 points. I think that might have been a career high. Offensively, for her personally, how do you feel like her game has improved?
Well, I think she's become a better shooter. She's focused on that a little bit. She was 8 for 8 from the free throw line the other night, which is where she got a lot of her points. She's working on her finishing, and I think she's finishing better. And I just think that she's become a little bit more comfortable in the role, and it's taken some time. Like we mentioned, she's always been a secondary. Laura started all the games. Last year she started, I guess, at the beginning of the year, but she was as the 2 guard, not the point guard. And so I just think it's taken her a little bit of time to get comfortable there, and she seems very comfortable with it now. She's our point guard. It's not one of the guards or our backup point guard. She's our point guard, and I think she knows that and has embraced that real well. So just a level of comfort, along with some skill improvements, but she's always been a great passer, and I just think focusing on the right shots, which she's doing a much better job of, and I'm still running our offense and still leading the charge defensively. She's still good at those things, but she just added another element.
Missouri State gave you guys a run for your money last year when you were there. This year, a very similar team, but they're here this time. But what is it about Missouri State that gives them that extra push and makes them so good?
Well, they have inside-outside presence. A lot of teams don't have that. They're either post-heavy or guard-heavy, and they have both. They're extremely physical. Now, like you said, they have all 5 starters are back, although it's a new point guard, but they have, for the most part, their returning team, their core players are back, and they're playing similarly to what they did last year. I know they have a new coach, but she hasn't come in and tried to change everything. She's kept them similar, and they're still playing to their strengths. They're just being really physical, making you work for everything. There's not a lot of mistakes that they make. Just play solid, consistent basketball, and get Franklin on the left, get their other post on the right. They're best in those areas. Try to get their shooters open for shots, give their drivers room to create, and it's a recipe for success. I'm not surprised at their record because they have good players and they've put them in position to be really, really successful.
Alexa Willard looks like a real standout for them. 6'2", physical, does a lot of everything.
She does.
What do you have to do to negate her a little bit?
Well, you got to contain her, and you got to take away her 3-point shot, and you got to contain her, and it's just much easier said than done because
she's 6'2",
yeah,
and she's
right.
the 3. That's pretty rare.
So yeah, Townie's not a small guard, but with Jessie and Katie and Kaylin and like those guys, we don't have the same kind of length that she has. So you just have to, I think, contain her somehow with pressure and moving your feet and a little bit of help, I'm sure. We don't leave anybody on an island to stop any one player by themselves. And so I don't actually know if we're starting Jill on her or who we're going to put on her, but whoever it is going to do their job, and then we just got to make sure that you have somebody on your right and left and behind you who's aware of her because she's a very good player.
Do they remind you a little of your team? Pretty balanced, and they really don't count on one particular player except maybe her.
Yeah, definitely. In some ways, they have great depth and contribution. I guess a lot of people start somebody who's just out there to fill the space, but that's not what they do. And they bring in a really good shooter off the bench, and they bring in a really good post player off the bench. And so, definitely, as far as depth goes, we run things a little bit differently, but the inside-outside presence is similar. They're a storied program in our similar situation. We are all familiar with what they did here in Spokane a few years ago, or now it's been more than a few years ago, but with Jackie Stiles, and they're kind of just not dissimilar to us in many ways at all.
I know you don't like that mid-major label that much, but two ranked teams, mid-major teams playing each other in the regular season, that's pretty rare.
Yeah, it is rare, and it's great. We're really happy that they're coming in here. It's a unique situation. We usually have to seek out teams in bigger conferences or different situations, and I'm happy to play this game. I'd love to play more games like this, where it's two teams who are going to make each other better, whether it be on paper or in practice, and it's going to be a great game for, I think, spectators as well.
I heard there was a big game here last night, but this is supposed to be, I think, the only ranked team coming to the Kennel, men's or women's, this year.
Well, as it stands right now, that's the case. Yeah, there's
right.
nobody currently on the schedule who's coming in on either side, and we've had this one circled because we knew it was going to be an important game for us, and I'm sure they have it circled as well. And so, again, I think we're going to give it our best tomorrow, and hopefully be happy at the end of it.
Win or lose, what kind of tone are you hoping to set going into conference play?
Well, we've had a great non-conference, and we have our own goals. And going into conference, we always want to be feeling confident in ourselves, and we want to be playing our best. And I think, regardless of what happens tomorrow, we should have confidence. And we've done a good job in this non-conference, and I think that we are continuing to get better, and we still have to work at that. But we haven't had any backsliding or average days, and those aren't things that we're really tolerant of. So hopefully we just keep that march forward and continue to improve.
How do you feel like this stretch has gone, and how do you finish off non-conference play tomorrow on a high note?
Yeah, we definitely were really glad to be back home. It did feel like a really long time. So that was super nice. Our fans were awesome, and they told us that they missed us, and we missed them back, so that was really fun. But obviously we have a big game tomorrow, and against a really good competitor, so we just have to come out ready to go and kind of end this non-conference going out with a bang. We just have to be ready and start off right from the tip, and then knowing that we get to go home for a little bit after that is really nice. So,
what is it about Missouri State that makes them so good?
They're just an all-around really good team. They've got a lot of depth, super skilled individual players, but also really good together as a team. We played them last year, and I remember them being very physical, so we definitely have to match that, and I think that we'll do just that. So, yeah, it'll be a fun one.
The theme this week has kind of been, with the men's program too, bringing in a program like North Carolina. Both coaches said this is what college basketball is about, and you guys get to do the same thing tomorrow. It's the second time a top 20 matchup has ever been inside the Kennel for you guys. Is this what college basketball is about, and how exciting is that, knowing that this is college basketball?
Absolutely. I think that all the girls on our team are super competitive, and we're ready just to go out there and compete and play the best that we can. We all live for really good games and good teams to play against, and so I don't think there's anybody on our team who would rather play a lower seed or anything. We all want to play good teams, and Missouri State's a really good team, and so I think that everybody's pretty excited about it.